Curtis. Oh, not much, man. Actually, a pretty good ride down and back. Left my house about 3 o'clock. Got there about quarter after, or just about 5, and went and had dinner. Went back to what? Oh, my bad.
Welcome, everybody, to Dover Monster Mile. Tonight, I am joined in the booth, as always, by Pete Ruzick. We are here doing the turn down for what pre-race show. The guys are out on the practice track right now. Pete, you got a copy, buddy?
I got you, Swats. How's it going, sir?
It's a beautiful day. Looks like the temperatures are really nice out on track here at Dover. 87 degrees on track, 71 degrees, just a regular air temp. But that one and only Josh Arnold sitting on the top in practice right now. He was last season's winner here at Dover. Led 72 laps, came away with the victory. Him and Zach Meredith shared the majority of the laps led during this race. Meredith leading 53 and Josh Arnold leading 72 out of the possible 140. So only a few laps spread out between different drivers. Only one caution during this race last season. That caution did come at an inopportune time and trapped about 3/4 of the field, at least a lap or two down. Only 5 drivers finishing on the lead lap, Pete. This is going to be a crazy race. It's been known to go green. So what are your expectations, bud?
Well, I'm definitely waiting for all these trucks to take that, great big roller coaster ride around this 1 mile concrete canyon, also known as Dover Raceway. It used to be Dover International, but I guess they dropped the international part. I do see, as you said, that double deuce of the one and only J-Power, Josh Arnold, with Nate Lehman so far behind him in practice speeds, as well as Cole Snyder, Byron Jones, and Chris Murphy. So quite a few Cold Dog Racing and affiliate trucks up here in I'm sorry, coming to the end of practice. I think they've only got about 2 or 3 minutes left. It's going to be a great time. But Swats, as far as what I expect some trucks to have some handling issues as they come up out of the corners. The back end of these trucks get very, very light, get very, very loose. These guys are going to have a whale of a time holding on to them. Either Miles is already fed or he's about to be fed. And it's going to be interesting who he's got in his grasp when it's all said and done here at Dover.
Yeah, looking at last season, like I said, they only had one caution. It did come at an unopportune time, trapped about 3/4 of the field down a lap at least. Most 2 laps down from 7th on back was 2 or more laps down. And if I do recall that race, it was actually not even really a track issue with drivers. It was a guy coming off of pit road, off that tricky corner coming out of turn 2 onto that backstretch, and there was 2 guys coming off of turn 2 that were too wide, and 3 wide just did not work, and that brought out the caution. So hopefully that doesn't happen again tonight, but expecting a lot of green flag laps tonight with these drivers. Josh Arnold, like I said, one of the fastest guys on track. He qualified in this race last season with a 22.987. He's currently in practice with a 22.802. So picking it up from last season, we only had one driver in the 22s, or the 22.8s, sorry, and that was Josh Arnold. The rest of the field was in 22.9s. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys in 22.8s as of right now, Pete. This is going to be insane. These guys are really fast. They've picked up so much from last season, learned so much, and they've gotten so much better over all the different seasons that they run in different leagues, as much time as they spend on iRacing, all of that kind of stuff. But leading into that, Pete, it goes into the standings. And looking at the standings, we're currently set with Hunter Peach sitting first with 187 points, only 3 points in front of that one and only Double Deuce Josh Arnold, sitting there with 184 points, but 0 wins. So does this start a trend for Josh Arnold if he can get back to that winning that he had last season at this very track that started a trend for him and got him going?
Oh, it absolutely could. I mean, J-Pod, he could hit that, hit his stride at any time. I mean, he used to just do really well at the super speedways, Daytona, Talladega, and the iRacing Super Speedway, where he got one of his biggest wins last season, because it was as he was running out of gas. But yeah, he could get hot at any time and really go ahead and knock down a couple of wins. I don't put that past him at all. He's a hell of a racer. Not only can he hold the line, and he doesn't have too many incidents, but he's pretty clean also. He can hold a steady wheel. I think J-Pod can get it done at any given track.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, how J-Paw has just become not just that known driver for super speedways. He's become the driver that, I mean, he's impossible to defend on any track. He's right there in the top 5 in pretty much every race we do. That's why he's consistently in the top 3 in points. He's finished in the top 3 in points in every season Turndown has done. He's finished second in pretty much all of them, I think. Yeah, he hasn't finished outside of top 2 in any season in trucks or Xfinity. So, I mean, he's just that consistent. His teammate out there, Q-Dog, out there in the chat, out of the race tonight, out of town is what he's saying. But he's tuning in to root for his boys in the CDR group. So he's saying, let's get it. Snyder, Lehman, and Arnold, and all 3 of them are very fast tonight. All 3 in the top 5 as of practice. And we'll see where they end up here in qualifying. But, Pete, let's try to jump in. Actually, let me run through the schedule real quick just to let you know there is this is a pretty opportune time for the schedule. We got Dover this week. iRacing Super Speedway next week. Then we go to a road course, Road America. Then we go to Pocono that just ran last week for Xfinity. Josh Arnold, in my opinion, deserved that win. Chris Murphy coming away with the win. Nothing against Chris Murphy getting the win, but Josh Arnold led majority of that race and got taken out. Front row cars battling each other, and he got taken out, and unfortunately did not finish in the top 10 in that race. But going back to Pocono, I'm sure he's going to be headhunting for that track. He's going to want that win. But 3 different styles there. You got iRacing Super, or 4. You got Dover tonight, then iRacing Super Speedway, which is a known Josh Arnold thing. Then you go to Road America. He's become a really good road course racer. Maybe not to the likes of maybe Hunter Peach or maybe 1 or 2 others, but he's consistently in a top 5 in a road course. Then you go to Pocono, and that's his track. So these are 4 big possible tracks for him in the upcoming schedule. But, Pete, let's jump back into that as soon as we come back here. Let's always give that big salute to the red, white, and blue, national anthem for the U.S. Big salute to all the men and women out there in the military, first responders, anybody running toward danger, anybody retired. I know they say in the military you're never retired, you just step away for a minute. So big thanks to you too, Pete, everybody out there. So let's jump right into that. We'll be right back, Pete. All right, Pete, and we are back here at the Monster Mile at Dover. And as of right now, qualifying wrapping up. Chris Murphy sitting on the top right now. Few more drivers to go here for qualifying. Doesn't look like I've seen Josh Arnold come out on the track yet, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But no, he has. He's back in 11th, so I don't know if he's just planning on sitting back tonight or if he was just having some really good laps during practice, but I would not doubt that he will be back up there towards the front, Pete, pretty quickly, I would imagine. But Chris Murphy getting the pole tonight, Hunter Peach second, Nate Lehman third, Cole Snyder fourth, Shad Swatsworth fifth, Zach Meredith, the other leader from last season's race, sitting sixth, Ryan McCall starting seventh, Jose Ruiz eighth, Jeff Ludnam ninth, JB Banner 10th, and Pete, go ahead and take the rest.
Yeah, behind JB Banner is that double deuce, the guy that we've been talking about for the last 5 to 10 minutes, the one and only J-Pod, Josh Arnold. Behind him, the double 44, Byron Jones in that Patriot Esports A10 tank killing Chevy Silverado. Then you got Micah Allard in that number 61, the 13, Michael LeBlanc, 71, Mike Campbell, old Papa Bear. And then the deuce, Randy Busquet, to round out the field. So it looks like we're going to have 16 trucks ready to battle it out with the one and only Miles the Monster. Swats, it's one of only two, I believe, completely concrete racetracks that we go to. You have an eyes-on favorite tonight, or just kind of wait and see how it all plays out, bud?
I'm gonna go with Josh Arnold. There's no doubt that he's gonna be one of the fastest guys on track. It's hard to pick against Hunter Peach and a few others, but I know I've got my own team drivers out there, but I don't want to be said that I'm picking only my team drivers, because I think Josh Arnold really deserves a win. Last week, like I said, he got taken out after leading so many laps at that race at Pocono and in the Xfinity Series. I'd like to see Josh Arnold get up here and get into the podium and bring it in at the end of the night and be able to talk to the two of us and really see maybe he has some excitement again after getting taken out in the last couple races in both series. So we'll see what happens here, but that's my pick. Looking at the track information right now, Josh Arnold, like I said, did win this race from the pole last season after leading 72 laps of this race. The track has hosted at least one NASCAR Cup Series race each year since 1969, Pete. I was not even born, including two per year from 1971 to 2020. Last year was the first year they did not run two at Dover. So in addition to NASCAR, the track has also hosted USAC, IndyCar racing. The track features one layout, no other layouts in this one, no road course or anything like that with Dover. It is a 1 mile concrete oval like you were talking about, with 24-degree banking in the turns, 9-degree bankings on the straightaway, and the speedway is owned and operated by Speedway Motorsports, who owns multiple tracks within NASCAR.
Well, I'll tell you what, buddy, you've been able to rattle off everything about winning and, who led what and who won what. And, I mean, that's a lot of homework. A lot of people just think that us as broadcasters, we just show up, load up, and get it going. I applaud you for doing all of the homework and making sure that everybody that tunes in for these racers, some of them, maybe their favorite racers, as we're going to go green, 21 Black Rifle Ford F-150 on the throttle, 26 to the outside. But Swats, I give you a lot of credit for doing what you do to make sure everybody's as informed as possible. Every single race, 1 and 2 complete. Looks like we're going to stay green. No incidents back through the field going into 3, Swats.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Pete. Got to give the people some information to keep them, paying attention to their favorite driver or anything like that. There's a lot of different people out there rooting. We got people out in the chat right now. First-time chatter, RCL RM4 says, "Dang, Murphy getting the pole." Yeah, Chris Murphy is one of my drivers, Pete, and he is very fast. I picked him to be on my team because of him finishing in the top 10 in points last season. Very consistent driver. Like I said a couple weeks ago, you never hear of Chris Murphy having a track issue. You never hear of a driver saying, "Oh, Chris ran me rough this time," or they bumped because it was Chris's fault, or you never hear that on track. He's just so consistent, the nice guy, but he does finish very well, getting that win last week at Pocono in the Xfinity Series for Turn Down for What.
Yeah, Chris Murphy, absolutely one of the cleanest guys. It's very, very seldom you go back through the discords or whatever, and you hear somebody with some ill thoughts of Chris. I'm glad he's here and turned down for what. Definitely blends in very, very well. They always used to say, "Is this driver going to be a good fit, or is he not a good fit for the league?" Chris Murphy was absolutely a great ad, great fit for turned down for what. I'm glad he's here. I tell you what, Swats, these guys are absolutely getting it. A lot of people say that Dover is one of those tracks where you really have to lay back and not push it until you absolutely have to. But this is one of those tracks where you kind of have to push it, because if you don't, you're going to get left behind. And it's one of those tracks where if you get left behind too far, it's almost impossible to gain a whole lot of time, because the line around this place, even though it's wide enough to go 3 wide, there is mostly just a single live groove around this 1 mile track.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to this ticker here, and Lehman and Murphy are pulling away from the rest of the field. Peach is sitting there, sitting third right now. Snyder sitting fourth. This is a track that does kind of eat up the tires, Pete, with that concrete, so you don't really want to go out too hot, but Murphy and Lehman are laying down some really fast laps right now, trying to stretch away from the rest of the field. Everybody else is single file, no double file going on in this 18 or 16 car field tonight, Pete.
Yeah, 16 trucks out there, and the guy that was sitting in 7th right now, Banner, actually just ran the fastest lap of everybody so far with a 23.32. A lot of 23.3s out there, but he was and still is the fastest. One guy actually just tied his time, and that's Hunter Peach, sitting in P number 3. So as the top 2 kind of continue to scoot away, there's a few faster trucks a little bit further back on track.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, if this is a good strategy. I always heard, Dover was one that really kind of ate up the rubber on the tires, and, those long run cars, that's really what you want, or long run trucks, that's what you really wanted. But these two up front are not slowing down. They're just putting down laps. Everybody's kind of single file, trying to figure out their way to make passes. I'm glad to see everybody get single filed after last week's race at Martinsville, Pete, that we had a lot of different incidents of guys, going way over their head or just going too deep into corners and not giving each other room. It is short track racing that we were at last week, but this is another 1 mile track. It's not technically, looked at as a short track, but I mean, it's a 1 mile track, so it technically is a short track.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people will race this like a short track, just like they'll race Phoenix as a short track, and even though it's just about the same distance. So yeah, a little bit of a battle further back in the pack between the Double Deuce and the 09. 09 now up in the wall though. The 1 in the 09 had a little bit of an issue. Then the 22 in the 09, it just seemed like the 09 could not quite find the groove on the outside. Now he's going to go ahead and lose a few spots. He lost some spots to Josh Arnold, Ryan McCall, and Byron Jones in that 44. Now the 37 and the 61 have all gone by. JB Banner now sitting back in P13. He was just in P6.
Yeah, there's a couple new guys in the field tonight. Micah's one of them. Randy Bousquet returning to turn down for what after missing most of this season and some of last season, as well as I guess he finally got a computer again and is able to get online for iRacing. But he's sitting back there in P16 right now in that 2 truck. But your driver Byron moving up through the field, sitting 10th right now, up 2 positions. The only other driver that's really making moves is that 22 Double Deuce of Josh Arnold. Moved up 3 positions, started 11th, now sitting 8th, riding right behind Shad Swatsworth in that 1 truck. Those two are usually pretty good at conserving the tires and waiting for that long run. Both of them usually have those long run trucks. So we're kind of wondering here, everybody's kind of single file. Everybody's laid out, just kind of running laps, logging those laps. We got 200 laps tonight, 15 so far have been completed. No issues on track, really, other than JB Banner scraping the wall there. But other than that, no issues on track. So these guys are just laying down laps. We should see pit stops within 30, 35 laps, Pete, I think, or is it closer to 40? I can't remember.
Yeah, Yep. I tell you what, I'll meet you right in the middle. I'll say between 30 and 40. That sounds
Gotcha.
pretty good to me. But yeah, not a whole lot of movement out there. But yeah, J-Pa able to snag 3 spots. Jose Ruiz also in that 23, able to move up 3 spots. Byron Jones up 2. Michael Allard that you just talked about, back in the console days, Xbox days, he was known as Chrome Capone in the eSpark series and around a couple of other leagues. He was recommended by Stout Whiskey, Jeff No. A lot of people recognize that name. So, yeah, welcome to eSpark, Micah. Good to see you. And man, still getting after it. Already working lap 18 of 200. It's a long race here at Dover, but man, these laps click off. It seems like we were just going through the field.
Yeah, looking at the speed here, Nate Lehman has fallen back to third. Hunter Peach moved up to second. But looking at the lap times, he's actually running 2/10 faster than our leader, Chris Murphy, and he's running him down. He's pulled away from Nate Lehman and the rest of the field, and he is catching Chris Murphy. So this is where I was talking about later on in the run, if Chris and Nate had pushed their cars or trucks too far out in front of the field and were really damaging those tires to where now they're going to be running slower laps, and those guys sitting back, like Hunter Peach, Josh Arnold, Chad Swatsworth, those guys known for saving tires, if they were just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and now everybody else's tires are starting to wear out and theirs are still fresh, and they're going to start coming through the field. And I mean, here comes Hunter. He's on the back bumper of Chris Murphy now.
Yep, he was 4/10, then 3/10, now under 2/10 back. This 21 Black Rifle Ford F-150, he's really going to have to make that truck wide. And I mentioned a little bit ago that this track is very much a single groove. As we see the 26 of Hunter Peach, go ahead and throw it in. He looks like the 21 said, you know what? You caught me. You're faster. You go on. But now the 21's, he's got to feel that truck out as all new again, because now he's going to have some dirty air dumped on the front of that 21. Have to see if he can either get lower than the 26 or run higher, but that's going to change his groove. So now the 21's got to see exactly where he can be fast, if he can keep up with the 26. But yes, this is going to give Jose Ruiz, Chad Swatsworth, Josh Arnold, and a couple of others new life, because those are the guys that are notoriously better than, in the long run than in the short run. I have a feeling some of those guys are going to start running these top 2 down. As we talk about Jose Ruiz, he's now up 5 spots. Josh Arnold sitting right now in P number 8. It seems like he might be a little stalled out there, but Jose Ruiz moved up to P number 3 from P8. So he's the biggest mover so far.
Yeah, looking at the track map that I just pulled up, you can see the separation between the 2 leaders up there to the backpack of 5 or 6 trucks there. And then there's a little bit more separation to the next little group, and then separation in between each driver after that. So that pack of 5 or 6 trucks, they're all just sitting in there and biding their time. But, yeah, Nate Lehman falling back early in this race. 24 laps into the race, he's already back to 4th and falling, now 5th. So Jose Ruiz, Zach Meredith, Shad, Swatsworth, and Josh Arnold are going to be looking to get past Nate Lehman and move up through this field and try to run down Hunter Peach, who is stretching his lead on Chris Murphy. He's out to a second already on Chris Murphy and just made that pass only a handful of laps ago, Pete.
Yeah, it really was already just a handful of laps. I just said we were working lap 18. Now we're up to 25. So we're clicking these laps off, 23, 24 seconds at a time. In fact, I think the last time these guys went around, I'm seeing all their best laps. It's not actually showing me their last laps, but yeah, everybody out there is still making a lot of great speed, doing everything that they've got to do to try to work their way. But I tell you what, that 23 K&N F-150 is really starting to reel in Chris Murphy. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jose Ruiz battling for the lead here before too long.
Yeah, looking at that battle box, you see Jose Ruiz now 2.3 seconds back from Hunter Peach. Only about a second back from Chris Murphy, and closing. He's up 5 positions now, Pete. He's the biggest mover with Josh Arnold up 6 positions. So those 2 are definitely coming through the field. Josh has gotten past Shad for 5th place, and Nate Lehman back to now 7th. So that group is coming. It's just when will they get there, and if they get there before we do green flag stops, which you and I, Pete, we were talking, and we're kind of settling between 30 and 40 laps. I don't know if any of the drivers are able to actually text in there, but I'm pretty sure we both agreed it was somewhere between 30 and 40. I don't think it's higher than that, but I'm trying to remember from last season. I don't think it was in the 50s. It might be between the 40 and 50 mark with a mile track, 60% fuel. I'm trying to remember some of the other short tracks that we've run. It could be 40 to 50, Pete.
It could be, but with the amount of RPM that these guys carry around this track and how it's maxed out so often, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I've said many times I'd love to be a fly on the fuel gauge for a lot of these guys, and it goes, it bodes true tonight as well. I mean, you can really use up a lot of gas around this 1 mile canyon, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, Jose Ruiz has gotten separation from the 17, 22, and 1, but those three are kind of just staying in line, trying to run down these leaders. But Jose is closing in. Like we said, he's still sitting about 2 seconds, but he's only about a half second now back from second place, Chris Murphy. Meredith up out of the groove. J-Paw taking over fourth place. Shad now underneath Meredith fighting for fourth place. As they go into the corner, Shad's going to slide up in front of Meredith.
Yeah, I give Zach Meredith a lot of credit. He saw that 22 and the 1 were coming, knew they were both faster, and literally let them go. But Zach Meredith is also one of those long run guys. He said he could have said, you know what, you go on, you go right ahead. I would say we're about 3/4 of the way, if not a little bit more, through the fuel run. There we go. You see one truck going down pit road right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 2. That's Randy Bousquet, who's back in 16th right now. I don't know what his pit strategy is. We are 33 laps into the run, but I think he's already, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's a lap down already. Yeah, he's already a lap down, so he may be just trying to swing a different strategy and just try to jump in, grab those fresh 4 Goodyears that you always talk about, and then throw in the fuel and see if maybe he can make up some time on those fresh tires, as obviously our best qualifying laps were right around 22 or 22.8, 9, somewhere in there. The fastest lap so far is a 23.321. And right now they're running 24.612 is what the leader just ran. So they're running a little over a second and a half off pace from where they started. So if Randy can come out here and get 4 freshies on there, jump back out here and run a second and a half faster laps than everybody else, he may be able to make up that time. I don't know. It looks like he's staying on pit road, Pete.
Yeah, it's about to be a really good battle between the 1 and the 22. 17 still behind, but they are nose to tail going through turns 3 and 4. Looks like the 1 of Shad's going to try to pull down underneath the double deuce, going into 1 and 2 side by side. 17, he's going to stay right there, see who he's going to go with. 1 keeping it pinned down, did not slide up into the double deuce. Good, clean pass by Shad Swansworth. Now J-Pod, Josh Arnold's going to kind of ride along right there. And these guys are continuing to try to make up time. But, man, the leaders, they've got a good half a track, almost a half a track on these guys as Randy comes up out of pit road.
Yeah, Hunter has about a 4-second lead over second and third place of Chris Murphy and Jose Ruiz. Then he's got another 4 seconds on top of that back to this pack here. But I think this was part of the plan for Shad. He looked like he was saving tires and just riding behind Josh Arnold and Meredith moved up out of the way, allowed Josh Arnold and Shad to go through. Now Shad making the move on Josh Arnold 38 laps into this run, and now pulling away from Meredith and Josh Arnold, who just slipped past Meredith as well. So falling back to 6th place now is Meredith, and Shad's making his way to try to get away from everybody and try to catch Jose Ruiz, who's only about 3 seconds out in front of Shad, and Murphy actually is right there too. So he's got about 3 seconds to gain on those two, but he's got 7.5 seconds to gain up to that leader in that 26 of Hunter Peach, who has just dusted everybody away from him. He's got, like you said, almost an entire backstretch away from everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was caught there on stream, but as the 17 got on by the 22, he gave the 17 a little bit of a love tap on the back end, got him a little loose. Not quite sure if the 17 just got a better run or what it was right there, but that allowed the one of Schatz Wadsworth to really pull away from both of those guys by a good second and a half. So Schatz Wadsworth, he's on a mission now to try to catch up to Chris Murphy, Jose Ruiz, and Hunter Peach. Ultimately, over almost 5 seconds ahead of third and fourth.
I'm also seeing out in the chat, Pete, that we got the Snyder Gang in the chat now. Gucci Sushi back in the chat after a little while, and Snoop Dogg now in the chat. Also saying All-American Bad Boy in the 24. That would be Cole Snyder sitting back there right now in 10th position in that 24 machine as I'm trying to find him on track here. But, yeah, he's sitting back here right now right behind your driver, Pete, Byron Jones in that 44 hot rod with the teeth right on it. He's looking hungry. I don't know. Last season he finished 6th at this track, 1 lap down. He was that lone driver that was 1 lap down. I talked to him right before I kicked off the show, and he said that he was able to get the lucky dog when that caution did come out and trap 3/4 of the field 2 laps down because everybody had just done green flag stops. And he was the driver that was first. So he got the lucky dog. He was the only driver to be 1 lap down. The rest of the field was 2+ laps down.
Isn't it amazing, Shad, that we as drivers and commentators, broadcasters, whatever, we can remember what happened to us 50 races ago. Just a lone incident, and we don't remember what we had for dinner last night. So I tell you, it's amazing. They say drivers never forget, whether we're talking about in real life, NASCAR drivers or IMSA drivers, whatever. They don't forget what happened a half a year ago, on one track, and there's been thousands of laps since then. But yeah, not what we had for dinner last night. That's just, it's amazing. We have memories like elephants, they say.
Well, Pete, I'm starting to question your memory because I am Kurt, not Shad. So,
I said Shad.
Yeah, I'm not Shad.
I'm sorry. I was looking at your brother's truck.
That's all right. I know it's a long wait for you. You're scattered all over the place doing broadcasting. You got real life stuff going on too. So I know you got a lot on your mind, and you've got to stay pretty sharp, or at least as much as you can, with all of the different races that you got going on. Your schedule, I mean, you put it out there on Twitter, and you are booked pretty much every day of the week besides Fridays. So, and I was with you last night in the ARC series that we watched last night, and it was very fun to watch that race. Then tonight here, I'm in HTL iRacing League tomorrow night on Monday night for the next gen cars, headed to Michigan, and then you're out at S&B, and I am not sure where you guys are headed.
Yeah, it's going to be Auto Club.
Nice.
Auto Club with 60-plus guys that are going to be attempting to make that race, and only 43 will move on. So a lot of guys are going to be putting their best foot forward in qualifying, even if they don't have the best race handling next-gen car. They're going to have to let it all hang out there in queue. But as far as me being sharp, Kurt, I'm about as sharp as a dull spoon here lately. And I found out the reason why we had such an issue with the start of that ARCS race last night. Good old OBS decided they were going to go ahead and do an update when I shut my computer down the previous night. That's why I said I didn't have any problems, the other night or whatever. Yeah, OBS had an update, screwed up a whole lot of my settings. And yeah, well, that's all fixed. On to tonight. We are just about working lap number 50. Nobody's missed anything except for the one and only Jose Ruiz, gone on to take the lead. Schatz Wadsworth, Josh Arnold, Nate Lehman, Hunter Peach now on pit road, sitting back P5. So we wanted to know, could they go 30 or 40 laps? Looks like we're both wrong. They can go almost 50.
Yeah, the rest of the field is running their 50th lap right now. Jose closing in on 51 laps. The Hunter Peach, Zach Meredith both hit pit road at 49 laps. So they're kind of jumping ahead. They may be trying to do this in 3 stops since we have 200 laps tonight. Do the 50, 50, 50, 50 and finish the race. But it was close there. 49 laps. I mean, that's a long run. Incoming Jose Ruiz to the pit road here. Schatz Wadsworth going to take over as your leader with Nate Lehman as well. Jose Ruiz pitting at 51 laps. So there's a good number to judge this. Now, the question is Shad going to try to run it out completely to try to make up a few of those laps to where maybe at some point he could, skip a pit stop or only do half a tank of fuel? But here he comes in at 52, so he ran an extra lap compared to Jose Ruiz and 3 extra laps compared to the leader prior, Hunter Peach and Zach Meredith, also in pit road.
I think that actually might have been a little bit of draft. The guys that came down one lap earlier, I think they were up front, really burning a lot of fuel. They didn't have any issues. They were on the throttle more often than not. I am kind of curious though. I just saw the 22 pull into his pit stop and then disappear. Did we actually lose the 22 of Josh Arnold? I'm not seeing him, Kurt.
Yeah, I don't see him.
Oh boy, did Josh Arnold flash out or what happened? He pit right in front of the 44, Byron Jones. He actually pulled in kind of cockeyed, and then he was gone. So I'm not sure what happened to J-Pop.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm seeing Shad back on pit road. Was that a double stop for him? 14.1 seconds. It's still showing him as the leader, but that's not correct because Hunter Peach has taken back over the leader, that 26th Chevy, switching back up to the front. Jose Ruiz now sitting second. Zach Meredith sitting third. Shad sitting fourth. Nate Lehman fifth. Ryan McCall sixth. Byron Jones seventh. Micah Allard is eighth. Cole Snyder ninth. Jeff Ludnam 10th. And yeah, Pete, I am not seeing Josh Arnold on track. And it's actually showing him going more and more laps down. So I'm not sure what happened to Josh. I hope everything's all right. He's usually not somebody to drop out of a race. So hopefully everything's all right with him. But this was a race. I really thought Josh was going to be able to pull away with this one again, like he did last season, winning this race, and was really hoping to hear him in the booth at the end of the night.
Yeah, like you said, it's not like him at all. Even if he's got some damage to bow out of a race early, he literally pulled into his pit stop. He wasn't even straight on. I mean, he was like nose first into his pit stop wall. So I'm guessing something happened, and like you said, I hope everything's all right. Hopefully nothing's going on in real life for Josh Arnold. Hopefully maybe he'll pop into chat and let us know that he's all right or whatever. But on to the number one Goodwrench Service Plus Bass Pro Silverado for your brother Shad out there. He's sitting in P number 4. So if he did have to come down, or if you just caught him on the same pit stop, it just seemed like it maybe took a little bit longer. I'm not sure, but no, Shad, he's up there about 10 seconds behind Hunter Peach right now. Jose Ruiz has P number 2, about 6.5 seconds, or almost 6.5 seconds behind Hunter. Zach Meredith, P3, your brother Shat Swatsworth, P number 4. Nate Lehman, P5. Ryan McCall, Micah Allard, Cole Snyder, Byron Jones, and Jeff Ledman. Going to round out your top 10.
Yeah, I think I just caught Shad because that pit road speed is very slow, and it just took him a long time to get to his pit stall. So I think that's all it was. But he had a pretty fast pit stop of 14.1. Jose Ruiz had a 14.1. Zach Meredith, 14.0. And Hunter Peach, the leader, actually had a really slow compared to the rest of them at 14.6, almost a half second slower than the rest of those guys in that top 4 spots.
Definitely see this good battle brewing. The one, again, trying to work his way underneath the PepsiCo machine of Zach Meredith. Again, big congratulations to Zach. Last week, he put it out on Facebook saying she said yes. In fact, he put that across the back of his truck last week. So congratulations to Zach. Old Bills legend, as a lot of people used to know him by. Got engaged, and he'll be planning a wedding soon. Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely a huge shout out to Zach. It's a big moment. I definitely know what he's going through, or what he is going through now. Obviously, last year with me and my wife getting married. So definitely a huge shout out to him, and congratulations as well. Pete, I think you and Beck might have to renew your vows at this point.
Yeah, Well, I'll tell you what. For the last several years, she'd been bugging me for an anniversary band, and I said, you know what? There's really nothing special about 3 or 6 or 8, whatever years. So I always told myself on our 10-year anniversary, I'd get her a nice anniversary band, and that for our 10-year anniversary this last November, that's exactly what I got her. Um, but it's always been something throughout the years. But yeah, on Veterans Day of 2011, my wife and I we set our dues at Lake Johnson in Raleigh, and it was honestly one of the best things that ever happened to me. Not only is my wife amazing, her entire family is amazing, and our two families together are, I mean, just completely gelled. No issues whatsoever. We kid and we joke and we have a good time. We absolutely we love being together, and there isn't anybody else that I would rather be with. And Swats, she's not standing behind me making me say any of this stuff.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Beck in
She's
the background to be like, that's right, Pete. You better say it.
no, she is downstairs in bed with her earbuds in, probably listening to some who done it kind of a podcast, much like your wife's into.
Yeah, mine's into TikTok, so that's why her nickname's TikTok. But yeah, I mean, got to thank the wonderful women in our lives that allow us to do this when we can, and it's really exciting. You and I both kind of got out of the racing part, and you were in the broadcasting part before, and then you dabbled into the racing, and now you're back into broadcasting 6 days a week. So I think. I think you've definitely got your calling, and both of us on track. We weren't the contenders to win every race. Well, actually, I'd say when we went to Atlanta, you were always a contender as long as you didn't have to make a pit stop. But
Go ahead, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's always fun to be out on track and really race with the guys and really have that relationship with the different drivers and things like that. But Pete, it's so much fun to be up in the booth, especially with somebody like you in the booth with me. It's always fun, us meeting for lunch and things like that. And I'm sure we'll do more coming this summer and stuff. And hopefully my son will start walking and things like that, and he won't have to be carried everywhere because he's a giant bag of concrete carrying around. But yeah, once he starts walking and moving around and things like that, we'll definitely be able to come up and do some sort of cookout or hang out or something. And obviously it's a huge pleasure to have you in the booth, and very thankful to the relationships that gaming does bring together. We met several years ago, and there's a whole group of us that have met several years ago that have all kind of stuck together, and that's what turned down for what is a lot of the console guys that we all knew over on the console side, and they all jumped to iRacing, and everybody kind of flows into here, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I consider a lot of these guys that I've known for years to be like family. I mean, if I didn't feel I could trust you or whatever, tell you things about my life or whatever, I wouldn't. And it would be, hey, how are you? Here we are on track, getting things taken care of. But no, we talk about real life issues away from the track, away from iRacing, away from the broadcast booth. And we meet up for lunch, we have a good time. Our ladies like a lot of the same things, and absolutely.
Yeah,
man,
that's a scary fact.
I was actually just telling Beck yesterday. We should invite you and your missus and your son to come on up for kind of a movie night. Throw the projector outside, light a fire, and just have a good time. I was actually going to talk to you about that when the race was over. I mean, nobody's missing anything. Hunter Peach is still out there. Jose Ruiz has been able to run him down by a few seconds, but still, that 26 Napa Auto Care machine is leading a ton of laps tonight. In fact, he's coming up on that Patriot Esports number 44 to go ahead and put Byron Jones a lap down. Byron right there was sitting in 10th place. So that means right now, with not even half of the race done, he's already lapping up to P10. That means only 9 drivers left on the lead lap. You want to talk about a pace that this 26 is setting.
Yeah, it's not even close, Pete. I mean, he's 3 seconds out on Jose. He's about 8 seconds out on Shad. Um, I thought Shad and Jose and Hunter would be closer, but the Hunter came down earlier than everybody else. He short pitted everybody else. The only other person to short pit with him was Zach Meredith, and Zach's hovering right there around fifth position. Shad and Nate both have now gotten past Zach Meredith. But Pete, we're getting kind of slim pickings on cars that are on the lead lap. We're back down. Like I said, last season, only 5 trucks finished on the lead lap with only 1 caution throughout the race, and we're only 76 laps into this race, and we've got 9 trucks left on the lead lap right now, Pete.
Yeah, just 9 trucks, and here's a good battle for P number 9. Jeff Lednam to the inside of the 10. 10 being Ryan McCall. 26, he's going to slide low real quick. That just goes to show what a great handling truck he's got. He was able to turn down the banking in the middle of the corner to clear the 10. So next up is going to be the 37 of Jeff Lednam. That's going to only leave 7 trucks on the lead lap. This 26 is on pace to lap everybody in the field, including possibly Jose Ruiz. Jose's gaining just a little bit, but everybody else behind, not so much. Your brother right now, Shad Swatsworth, is up to P3. Oh, by the way, almost 8+ seconds back.
Yeah, these guys are going to have to really pull some magic to be able to catch Hunter. He timed it perfectly, and when he decided to hit the gas pedal and leave, and really put some distance and get past Chris Murphy, who was our pole sitter and was our leader at the time, had stretched out a good lead as well with Nate Lehman, and Hunter Peach just came flying from third and said, you know what, time to go, and he just went past both of them and stretched it out really far, almost a 3-second gap, and then he short pitted everybody. He first one to come down pit road out of the leaders, out of the top 10, and just stretched it even further, and hasn't really looked back. So these guys, in the top 10 that are looking to try to catch Hunter, they're going to have to really, really pull some magic out, or they're going to have to really hope and pray for a caution.
I'll tell you what, right now I'm on board with the 61 of Micah Allard, and looking back from him, you can actually see that Napa machine getting closer and closer. Looks like Hunter is battling with another truck right now, about to go 2 laps down. It's going to be the 09 sitting back there, and that is JB Banner. So there you see the 26 underneath them getting through the corner. 09 moved up, let him go, and now that 61, he sees the 26, he sees those Napa blue colors, he knows what's coming. That's going to be up to P number 7. So then we would just have Cole Snyder sitting in P number 6, still on the lead lap. These guys got to be hoping for some kind of a caution to come out soon if they have any chance of staying, or of at least a few trucks staying on the lead lap here at Dover.
Yeah, I don't know if Hunter's going to relinquish this lead anytime soon. He's laying down pretty consistent laps. He's his best lap, like we said, 23.323, and he just ran a 24.558, and that is 35 laps into basically a 49-50 lap run. So he's over halfway through his run, and he's still only running a little over a second off of his pace from his best lap. So the rest of the field, though, is running 24.8s in the top 3. So they're 0.3 off of his number, and it's just allowing him to stretch even further away from everybody. However, Shad is actually running a little faster than Jose, so he's making up some ground on Jose.
I was actually just about to say, Shad Swatsworth, he's made up just a little bit of time and keeps plugging away. That's one thing that I say about Shad, no matter what league, what race, what kind of vehicle he's in. And I don't say this about everybody. There's no give up whatsoever in your brother. He knows that he's fast. He knows he's consistent. He's not afraid to stand up for himself either. He's not a driver that you can push around. Not a bit. And if you're wrong, he'll tell you when you're wrong. right now sitting in P number 3, behind Jose Ruiz. He's got Nate Lehman behind him, as well as Zach Meredith and Cole Snyder. Again, still Micah Allard sitting in P number 7 is the last truck on the lead lap. And I'm going to go back one more time, take a look at that rear view of him. And yeah, he just went on by the start stripe, and the 26 is right behind him. Working lap 88 of 200. We are going to have only 6 trucks left on the lead lap by the time we get to halfway in this race.
Yeah, Shad's pretty consistent, but yeah, I think he gets into his feelings a little bit, and he's got to stay cool rather than he gets irritated pretty quickly and agitated pretty quickly. So he's, I mean, it happens to the best of us on track. It can definitely happen when you're, expecting to, run up front and you get taken out by a lap car or somebody just making a mistake and, you get taken out. But he's got a kind of a different strategy and different kind of way of racing right now, is because his work schedule doesn't allow him to make every single race. He misses every other month. He misses about 2 races because of his work schedule. So he's not really running for the championship. He's right outside the top 10 in points, but I mean, he's just here to win trophies. So every race he comes out, he's not looking for, point totals or anything like that. He's just going for the win. He doesn't really care about point totals. So he just goes out here and tries to run as fast as he can, as clean as he can. And unfortunately, he's had some run-ins with a couple different drivers, and it's kind of taken him out of some of the races. But, I mean, even looking at the top 10, Pete, for the standings, like we said, he's not in the top 10, but he's right outside the top 10, and you've got a bunch of drivers in the field that have wins. Hunter Peach has a win. Cole Snyder has a win. Jose Ruiz, sitting second, has a win. Zach Meredith sitting back in 9th in points, who missed a race. He's sitting 9th with a win. And then Shad's back there in the top 15 with a win. So there's some room. If he was an every race driver, if he could, I'm sure we'd see him up here in the top 5, Pete.
Talk about that top 5. Look at Cole Snyder right now in P number 6. The 26 of Hunter Peach going to pull up underneath them and go on by. That is putting P number 6 one lap down, and it looks like running lap number 93, we are within 7 laps of everybody coming on down, grabbing their second set of Eagle Fuel Goods. Go ahead and grab everything they need for that Sunoco race fuel, and everybody will be able to make it after this on one more stop. They've all been able to go about 50 laps, some a couple more due to, I think, could be a little bit of draft help, or they just weren't allowing the fuel tank to go dry. I tell you what, if I'm anybody behind the 26 of Hunter Peach, I might try to stay out an extra lap when other guys go on down pit road, just hoping that somebody else will make a mistake. We're about to run 100 laps green so far. 16 trucks started this race, 15 left on track because the double deuce of Josh Arnold had something happen with his truck. But they've got to hope that something happens, caution comes out in order to rack and stack this field back up. That way we get to see possibly a closer battle. But Swats, if the 26 was able to pull away like he has this race, who's to say he couldn't do it even if they did get stacked back up?
Yeah, I mean, Hunter, he's the guy that we saw last season win the championship in this series. He won double-digit wins out of 16 races in the season. I think he had 11. He pretty much, I think he had at least that for poles. It seemed like every single race he was the pole sitter. So he's just very, very dominant, very, very good. Doesn't make too many mistakes. He gets caught up in some little issues here and there, but still makes his way back to the top 10, and he is sitting at the top of the leaderboard right now in the point standings by 1 point over Josh Arnold, who is unfortunately out of the race and going to wind up finishing P16 tonight. So that's going to be a big hit to the points, but I mean, Hunter, he's very dominant. Like I said, he's got 1 win on the season right now. He could have had probably 2 or 3 others, but just got eked out by a couple of different drivers there on super speedways and little things like that. But I mean, that's not a driver you want to see start reeling off some wins. and get rolling. I mean, it's like Kyle Larson, it's like Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick. Those drivers, if they start getting wins, look out.
Absolutely. Just like I said about Josh Arnold, J-Paw, before this race started, or during, right after it started, I should say. He could really get hot at any time and start clicking off a couple wins. As we see the 26 come on down pit road, it's funny, he's slowed down, woed down, come past the commitment cones, and he's still sitting in P3. I mean, it's just amazing the gap that he had. So Jose Ruiz able to adopt the lead. Shatz Wadsworth, your brother right now, sitting P2. Nate Lehman, P3. Hunter Peach in P4 on pit road, about to pull into his pit stall. Cole Snyder also not yet down pit road. He's sitting in P number 5. Michael Allard, P6. Byron Jones, 7th. Jeff Lednam, 8th. Zach Meredith, 9th. And JB Banner, who came down just before the leader by about 2 or 3 laps, right now rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, that was a 51-lap run for Hunter Peach. He ran a 49-lap run earlier before the green flag stopped, so he just ran a 51. And like you said, he had such a gap. By the time he got slowed down and got onto pit lane, he had only fallen to 3rd. So he's probably going to come out still within the top 10, even going laps down with drivers still continuing on track. Shad's still out there running his 50th lap. If he runs 51 again, that would put him at 102 laps for his 2 green flag runs. If he runs another set, that's another, knock off of the total. He would have knocked off 6 to 7 laps off of one of the runs, so he could technically maybe drop his fuel on the next pit stop down by a gallon and maybe pick up a second or two and try to make up some room.
Yeah, not only pick up a little bit of time because you don't have to wait for that crew to pump that extra gas in, but it's also keeping the rear end of the truck a little bit lighter. And on fresh tires, that's how a lot of the guys, back in the console days, used to put down those burner laps, those really, really fast laps. You keep the truck or the car light, you go on out with almost an empty tank, and you really, really, hook that track the best you can. So your brother right now, he's getting his left side tires on, pulling on out as he passes on by the 21 on pit road. So Shatz Wadsworth coming back out on track about P number 4. It's going to be interesting to see where Hunter Peach comes on out.
Back out in the lead.
Yep, Hunter Peach coming back out.
It's not even close.
But he's going to go ahead and put the 21 back a lap down, and your brother is actually not going to be too far ahead. Your brother's he was just going into 3 and 4 as Hunter Peach was coming off of 2. So he's got almost just about half a track away from catching up to the top 4. Wow. Yeah.
He's going to have about four lap fresher tires, though, so he should be able to get away from Hunter a little bit more. But it's funny because Shad still had a 0.5 second, so half a second faster pit stop than Hunter Peach, and Hunter still gained time on him. So it's got to be how he entered pit lane and how he got off of pit lane compared to how Shad did, because the pit stop times, Shad's beating him every time in the pit stop, so his pit crew is helping him, but the time it takes to get from the cone to the pit stall, then out of the pit stall and out past the cone, Hunter must be beating everybody because he's stretching on everybody every time he does a pit stop.
Well, right now Zach Meredith, he's sitting in P number 5. He's got he's got the 10. Ryan McCall. Excuse me, not JB Banner. JB Banner's in the 09. He's got the 10 of McCall right behind him, kind of giving him a little bit of a shove. And I would imagine with green flag pit stops now completed, you're not just going to roll over and let the leader go. Even if he is faster, you're going to have to put up some kind of a fight. You're going to have to make that 26 maybe use up his tires a little bit trying to get on by you. Don't just move over whatsoever. And I tell you what, Gucci Sushi out there saying, loving the Snyder cam, so smooth. And I've got to agree, that 24 is very, very smooth, as you see the one still right there with him.
Yeah, the 1 and the 24 are on basically the same set of tires. They both came down 1 lap apart, so Cole's a lap down, but Shad's sitting in 3rd, and he's trying to get past Cole so he can get away from Hunter. Cole's got to do the same thing because Cole's coming. So he doesn't want to go 2 laps down. If there was a caution to come out, Cole would be sitting in that lucky dog spot. Actually, never mind. Zach Meredith just went a lap down. So he's going to have to try to catch Zach, but Zach's way out in front of Cole right now. Zach's actually sitting in 5th, right behind Nate Lehman, who's sitting 4th, and then Shad is in 3rd. So Hunter's coming through the field, and he may lap the entire field here. He's only about a second lead, though, over Jose Ruiz. So Jose made up about a second during those green flag stops. Shad lost about 2 extra seconds compared to Jose.
Yeah, I mean, you look ahead of the 26, you see the 10, you see the 09, and then I believe that's going to be, I'm not quite sure who that is in front of the 09, but he's catching guys, he's kind of catching them in the right spot. They're pushing because they want to stay on the lead lap. They end up getting into the corner a little bit too hot. He's hitting his marks, taking advantage of their mistake. The looks like the 10, he knows the 26 is faster, out of the way. Here comes the 09. He sees the 09 knows that he's faster. He's just going to give the line to the 26. Nobody's actually fighting Hunter whatsoever. I get you're not going to fight him if you're a lap or more down, but the 17, I think he could have put up a little bit of a fight. Yeah, he is now the first truck 1 lap down, so if a caution should come out, yeah, he's going to go ahead and grab that lap. But these guys have been clean and green now for 113, almost 114 laps as they come on by the next time. I don't foresee a caution coming out, Swatch. These guys with just now 15 trucks on track, I think there's just going to be too much room between the guys to really see a yellow come out. Could it happen? Yeah, sure. Somebody makes a little bit of mistake, maybe loses their sense of track awareness for a moment or something like that, and the yellow would fly. But turned out for what has been great about keeping it green, except for last week, a ton of yellow flags. But you know what? That was Martinsville. That's in the past. These guys are great on the 3/4 mile, the mile, 1.5 miles, 2 mile, and bigger tracks, and have been all season long.
Yeah, Shad and Cole actually just ran almost identical lap times. Actually, they did run identical lap times, and then Cole just ran another faster lap. But they're actually running about a half second faster than Hunter. So Hunter's having to deal with some lap down cars, but Shad and Cole have figured out that, why race each other? Cole's a lap down, Shad's in the lead lap. Shad just said, well, I'm just going to follow Cole. Cole has the fastest lap on track through the entire race. So Shad could probably watch Cole, see what he's doing maybe, and he's pretty much running identical lap times as Cole. So I think he's figured out something that Cole's got figured out, but it might have been too late for Cole to figure it out because Hunter has just, decimated the field. But Shad is gaining on Hunter and Jose. He's down to now 5.5 seconds, Pete, and that's where he was before the pit stops happened. So he's picked up almost 2 seconds in this last run of 15 laps here.
Yeah, it's probably a really, really good thing that the 24 is fast. I mean, looking at the front end, I don't see any issues with that Millsap Graphics number 24 for Cole Snyder. So I'm glad that he's just as fast, if not maybe even a little bit quicker than the one of Shad. That Shad can just stay right there with him and continue to pull along. If the 24 was slower and holding up the 1, I'm sure there would be a big issue, and those two would kind of have at it in when the race is all said and done. These guys have had their run-ins in the past, so I'm hoping they can keep it clean and green and do what's best for both of their races moving forward. Your brother's trying to get in on the bottom line, 24 able to get back in the throttle just a little bit sooner, not going to have the room to slide on up. Shad's going to have to put a little extra wheel in it. They came across the start stripe. Lap 120 is now underway. One car able to clear the 24. We'll see now if he's just as able to pull that 24 along as the 24 helped him.
Yeah, I think if I was Shad, I would have probably just stayed where I was at. I mean, they were both making really, really fast lap times, and they're both running faster lap times than Hunter Beach. And now that I say that, Hunter just ran a faster lap than Shad and Cole. But
they were both fighting that lap.
Yeah, they were both fighting that lap. I mean, it was only a half a tenth that he was faster that lap, but they were running pretty much consistently 2 tenths faster than Hunter with Shad behind Cole. So with Cole running those really, really fast laps and dragging Shad along, I think he probably should have just stayed there because at this point, I mean, he made up 2 seconds on Jose. He's down to 5.3, 5.5, or 5.4. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, you're kind of stuck where you're at. But I think I would have stayed behind the guy who was dragging me along, running faster laps than the leader.
I tell you what, this leader, he's losing a little bit of time to that number 23 K&N Ford F-150. Jose Ruiz now within, what has he got, 1.1, 1.2 seconds back of the lead. Pretty soon he's going to have the draft. We might have a new leader here very, very soon. Working lap 123. I don't expect to see anybody back on pit road until about 150 to 155. Seeming that your brothers ran a couple more laps past the 50 lap mark. But yeah, this 23 truck's looking pretty strong. Now down to an even 1 second behind the 26.
Yeah, Jose was about a tenth faster that lap. But yeah, I mean that's our last race winner, Pete. We had Jose in the booth last race. Both Jose and Nate Lehman were all in the booth with us. So Jose looking for a two-peat here and turned down for what, 2 races in a row, and 2 different styles of racing, really. So going to Dover, I mean, Hunter Peach has dominated this race. I mean, he's led. I would say at least 80 laps of this 125 so far. That Chris Murphy led some in the beginning, and then Shad's led a few when Hunter's pitted, and there's been a couple other guys that have led laps as well. But I mean, Hunter has pretty much led. If he has been on track, he's led.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter once he got the clean air on the front of that 26, except for working, when working through lap traffic, he has been the dominant truck on track. Yeah, a couple of guys have been able to work together to run some faster times, but this 23, he's been pretty much solely been able to work his way through traffic and pull within a second plus, or sometimes under a second of the number 26. It seemed like once Jose got to the draft of that 26, though, he started to get a little tight and started to have to diamond out the corners a little bit. And once he was no longer in the draft of the 26, he's been able to go ahead and start wrapping the bottom one more time. So I think when it comes down to pit stops, this 23 and 26 are going to be one hell of a battle. And Jose Ruiz, he's another one just like Josh Arnold. Once he gets hot, he could fire off a whole bunch of wins as well. He is very, very consistent. He's very conservative of his tires. He always waits and kind of lays back just a little bit. But when it's time to go, we talk about Jose many, many times in many, many races being up there when it matters the most.
Yeah, Jose, looking from the dash here, he can see Hunter, and he knows he's there. He just needs to get within that window of the draft pulling him and then not get tight. I mean, he had it down to about 0.9, and now it's back up to 1.4, 1.5, 1.3 in the corners. So he can see him. I mean, he knows he's there. But the question is, P, you know Hunter has been kind of short pitting everybody because he's been the first one to come down pit road out of the leaders. He's been coming. His first pit stop was 49 laps. Second pit stop was 51 laps. Does Jose hit the mark as soon as he knows he is good to go for the rest of the race? And does he beat Hunter to the pit road? Because Hunter's looking at it the same way, saying, well, I know I can run 51, so as soon as there's 51 laps to go, do I hit pit road and hope that I'm in front of Jose before Jose gets to pit road? Or does one of them try to sneak in before the other? It's a complete flip of the coin on who hits pit road first. And then you have Shad sitting back there who's run extra laps each pit run. He's run 51 and 52, both pit stops. So, he's sitting back there 2-3 laps behind these guys on pit stops. And, does he say, well, I know I can run 51, 52. When it hits 52, do I go and then hope that Hunter and Jose hit it at 51 and I'm able to make up a little bit of time? There's so much strategy going on between these top 4 guys. And Hunter is not running down Nate Lehman. Nate Lehman has been sitting at 13 seconds pretty much since that last green flag stop and has not changed it. He's been able to lap Zach Meredith, who's in 5th place, so only the top 4 is not a lap down. No cautions tonight, so this is just a straight 134 lap straight green flag run. And here comes Jose. He's got the draft now. Down to .3, Pete. Hunter had a bad turn there.
Yeah, Hunter's actually backed his pace down a little bit. I was actually going to say, when it was back to 1.4, 1.3, if Hunter was going to slow down and get to pitting, Jose Ruiz would have enough time to react, get on the binders, and go down with him. That way, they both came on pit road at the same time, came out at the same time. Have to see whose pit crew was able to do the best job. While Hunter's pit crew has been slower than some others, he's still been able to beat guys off track. That could be his pit road speed. Maybe he's been at the right at the line, getting it down to, I believe it's 45 here at Dover, and been able to maintain 45 in and out, getting up to speed before he gets to that commitment line quicker than others, while they might be a little bit more hesitant to get on the throttle. That way they don't have to serve a black flag either going in or coming out. Looks like 26 actually just tagged that outside wall coming off the corner. That might have caused a little bit of damage. I don't see much right now. But yeah, Jose is absolutely there. Who is going to come first? Running lap 137 of 200. They're both within 12 laps of coming on in. 23 running low, 26 up high just a little bit, but not enough of a run for the 23 to even challenge just yet.
Yeah, 23 can actually now just sit behind Hunter and save fuel. I mean, he's run him down on this long green flag run from about 3 seconds back. So, I mean, if he could run an extra lap or two like he has been longer than Hunter and just keep going at the same pace, I mean, the strategy's been working so far. So if he runs another green flag run of 50 laps and he catches, Hunter with 10 to go, he's going to be on a little bit fresher of tires than Hunter, and Hunter's obviously having a little bit of trouble later on in this run. We didn't see that in the first green flag run or the second green flag run. Now this third flag run, he's a little tight, and he's going up towards the wall, and I don't know if he's trying to pay attention to the fuel or anything like that. He has short pitted that first green flag run. If you remember, he ran 49 laps compared to everybody else running 51 or 52.
Well, not only that, I mean, if you think about this 26 having to work through traffic, I mentioned a while back when he got up to the 10, he had to kind of cut down a little bit. How many other drivers has he had to kind of cut down on in order to keep the position, not wash up track or get into anybody else? So he's had to work his way through traffic. The same as the 23 has, but the 23 may have caught that traffic in different positions, as it looks like the 26 may be coming in this time. 23's up high. Are they going to come in? Nope. It was just the 26. I'm not quite sure why he was running so low. Maybe he's telling Jose, you know what, you go ahead, as Jose pulls to the outside.
I think he was also trying to break the draft that Jose was having on him. Push him out to the outside line, have him run up the track, run a little bit shorter of the track for Hunter, making Jose run the longer way around this track. Even though it's 1 mile, if you run the top line, I mean, you're going to add probably a quarter mile all the way through this track if you run the high line the whole way around.
And I'll tell you what, I'm glad a little bit of netcode didn't take effect right there. That the 23 came up on the right rear of that 26 very, very fast. In fact, I think there might have been a little bit of aero contact, we'll say, and it caused the 26 to bobble just a bit. This time off the corner, no issue. I think you're right. I think maybe the 26 is trying to break the draft, but it really doesn't look like Jose's trying to run down there with him. He's found a faster line around to where he can keep with this 26 up on the high side, and by going up there, he's not burning up his stuff. He can roll out of the throttle, get back in it, and he's not scrubbing it off all the way down on that inside line where the 26 has pretty much stayed. Plus, now the 26 has the 09, I think, that is in front of him. That's going to dump a little bit of dirty air on Hunter's hood, and now they are completely side by side.
Yeah, they're coming up on 46 laps for Hunter Pete, 45 for Jose Ruiz. So we're going to see pit stops here soon. But, Pete, we are 56, 55 laps out. So they're going to have to stay on track for another 4 to 5 laps to make it the rest of the way. And that's if we don't have, that pesky yellow flag come out with 3 laps to go and have a green-white checker. Who's going to pit? I mean, if the leaders don't pit, the guys in the back won't get their laps back. If the leaders do pit and the other guys stay out, I don't know if they can make it. So it'll be close, but I don't know. I think Jose is just kind of biding his time, sitting behind Hunter, not really in a hurry to get out in front of him. Just trying to, he is staying with him. The last several green flag stops, he's been 2 to 3 seconds back from Hunter every single time. So this time, if he's right on his tail and he can follow him through pit lane and, keep the pressure on him in pit lane, maybe Hunter won't have that fast time through pit lane where he's, trying to hit the gas to try to get up closer to that 45-mile-an-hour and then slows down and then goes back up and slows down where it hits that red, and you got to get back down so you don't get the penalty. So I don't think Jose's really in a hurry. It doesn't look like he's in a hurry.
No, it doesn't look like he's in a hurry, but I'll tell you what, while these two up front have been playing their cat and mouse games, I'll stay high, you go low, or whatever.
There is that pesky car coming.
Yeah, this number 1 of Shad Swatsworth, he's run it down from 6 down to 4, down to 2+ seconds behind Jose Ruiz and Hunter Peach. That was actually the 71 of Papa Bear, not the 09 of Banner that those two got on by. And man, they are nose to tail now. Your brother's got the draft of the 71. 71 not too tight, it seems, able to come up off the corner and not smack that wall. So Papa Bear's going to go on up, move out of the way of the 1. He says, you know what, you go ahead, go get him. Leaders are side by side.
Yeah, with these two racing side by side, it's just drawing Shad in closer and closer. He just cut a second off. Almost a second and a half, actually. They're going to pit road, that's why. I was going to say, geez, he just cut a second and a half off in one straightaway. But, yeah, he's going to run that extra lap. He's right within his window. Everybody is within window from here. If they pit, they can run the 49, 40, or 50 laps. But Shad was the driver that has stayed out usually the longest compared to everybody else. And you did see him there make up a lot of ground on Jose and Hunter. Jose now in 1 lap past Hunter going in. So they're still staying with the same strategy. Jose did not pit with Hunter there. Hunter pitted first, short pitted everybody else. Now Jose coming in, Shad staying out. Looks like he should be coming to pit road at some point here. But I mean, I don't know if the strategy works. You saw Hunter every time when he's short pitted, he comes out with a 3 to 5 second lead over second and third place. I don't know if it works. Do they catch him with 10 to go? Do they catch him with 5 to go? Or does he just stay out far enough to where now he can just put it to the floor? You said it looked like he had slowed up his pace a little bit because maybe he was tight. So, does that get fixed with these fresh tires and he's able to stretch his lead out further where he knows he can make it on fuel? And so he just puts the pedal to the floor and goes.
I'll tell you what, Hunter Peach now grounding turns 3 and 4, coming off 4, going down the front stretch, just past the start-finish line. Jose Ruiz just now on the exit of pit road. He is going to come out, and he's going to have the 26 in sight with 1 lap fresher tires as they go. But that 1 extra lap just gave just about the entire length of the backstretch back to Hunter Peach. I mean, we're talking at least half of it. So, I mean, Jose Ruiz, he's great for the long-run truck.
There goes Hunter and Jose past Shad, too.
Yep. Can Jose now run down this 26 on pure speed with 47 laps remaining? I think the 23 can get up there. I think the 1 can get up there. It's going to be interesting, though.
Yeah, they're both a lot closer than they were on both of the green flag stops prior. Jose is only sitting 0.3 back, 0.2 back. He's in the draft of Hunter's. And he's not having to fight those 3 seconds to try to catch up to Hunter and, use more tire. So now he's got 45 laps to just sit behind Hunter, watch, and then make his move. And Shad now sitting at 4.5 seconds back. He was 7 seconds the last time they had a green flag stop. So, I mean, actually he's at 3.5. Actually, it keeps changing. I don't know why. But
he's on the move. Your brother, he was just 3.5. Now he's 3. He's now in the high 2s. So,
and they're side by side at the front.
Yep. And the more they do this, the more that's going to help Shad back there in that good wrench one. So let Jose and the 26 of Hunter Peach really battle it out. That's going to make this a three-dog fight at the very, very end. 26 down low, 23 up in that high line. He's just going to worry that 26. He said, you know what? You're not going to run away with this. I'm here. The one's going to be up here now. Shad is now under 2 seconds behind. 1.9, 1.8, just about 1.7. So that one truck is coming, and the more these guys battle it out, the closer and closer he's going to get. Now 1.6, almost 1.5, 1.4 behind. So yeah, that one truck's coming. This will be a 3-truck fight very, very soon.
Yeah, he just ran a half a tenth faster than the leaders. But Shad has Zach Meredith pushing him. That's the leader from the last race. Him and Josh Arnold led more than 50 laps each for this race. So not a bad person to be behind you, pushing you, and driving you to run faster laps. Shad's running 23.613s. Hunter just ran a 24.3. That brought Shad within 1 second now. He's going to have the draft of Jeff Ludnam, still being pushed by Zach Meredith. This is definitely a 3-truck race coming towards the end of this race, Pete. We are 159 laps into this 200-lap race, and it is going to come down to these 3, as there is only 4 drivers on the lead lap. Unfortunately, Nate Lehman sitting back 11.5 seconds from these top 3. Shad now past Jeff Ludnam on the tail end of the 23 in the draft of the 26 right now. We are battling, Pete.
Absolutely battling. I tell you what, that 17, he's got a bird's eye view of everything that's happening. So your brother's smart. I think right here, all he does, he sits, he waits, he lets these guys go ahead and race. They're going to stay side by side. They've got lap down traffic that they've got to contend with. Let them go ahead and make the holes as they work underneath the 2. Then they've got this other truck right ahead of them. Let the 26 and let the 23 make the hole for the 1 to get on by. Just stay right there in the draft, right there with these guys. Almost a little bit of contact between the 26 and 23. 26 let up a little bit earlier than I think Jose was ready for. But the 1 is in prime position to take example of whatever what am I trying to say? Take advantage of whatever might happen with these 2 in front of him, but maybe not, man. He's kind of throwing it in there. He might just want to take the lead outright and go for the W.
Yeah, at this point, looking at this, Zach needs to probably back off of these 3, because Zach seems to be just as fast as these front 3 leaders with the draft on Shad's tail end there. But you don't want to be a lap down car, because Zach is 1 lap down, so he is the first car 1 lap down, but the next car that's 1 lap down is nowhere near these guys. So he is the lucky dog sitting there, but Zach probably wants to try to get up here and just get his lead back, or get on the lead lap in case there is a caution, to where he does not have to go to the tail end of the field. But Shad, Jose, and Hunter, I mean, they are just dogging it out up here. It is a complete dogfight. These guys are not giving up. We've had, Hunter lead so many laps tonight. He looked unbeatable so far out in front of everybody, and these 2 have just run him down, run the strategy that they've been running the entire race, as we've been green this entire race. 164 laps of green flag running at Turn Down for What Truck Series, Pete. It is insane tonight.
One thing I hope, I really do, and that is that Shad Slotsworth didn't burn up his tires with the 17 behind him. Just thankful that he had some help and that he's going to be able to go the distance. I know your brother's smart, he's a great racer, but when he saw them flash by and he saw that he was still able to see them on the track, being only 4 seconds behind, you could be at one end of the straightaway and really get after it. Where the 26 and 23, were they going full bore? Were they kind of racing it out? It just doesn't seem like they had the same pace when they came out of the pits that they did prior. I mean, or it could just be that they were already getting into the side-by-side racing and they couldn't really pull away as we now officially
new leader.
have a new leader. 23 Jose, last week's winner. He's got the clean air. Now the 26 is going to have to figure out what the 23 Jose is doing to see if he can get back on by. But that one truck still stalking.
Yeah, Hunter's been really tight ever since that last green flag run, and I don't know if it's because he scraped the wall and it's thrown that spoiler off, or it's thrown a little bit of, arrow down the side there. But he's been tight, and he's running that bottom with Jose running the top side, which has brought Shad into this picture. But either way, both of them running side by side there, it's going to hurt the tires more with them running side by side, putting the wheel in it to stay off of each other as well. So even if Shad was pushing it, he's probably about the same as these guys. He's got 2 lap fresher tires than Hunter, 1 lap fresher tires than Jose. So even just pushing it for a couple laps there to get back to the tail end of these guys, I think they're probably all about even on tires, as Hunter's looking underneath Jose again, as we're going to flip-flop leaders again 2 laps later.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, as these guys have continued to flip-flop, your brother's kind of gotten into the mix a little bit. You mentioned that Nate Lehman was back there about 13 seconds. It seems like just a few short laps ago. He's now cut it down to just about 6+. So even he's gained time. I don't think he's going to get there in the next 30 laps, but that just goes to show when these guys get to battling how much a single truck a little bit further in the running order how much time that truck can make up when the front battles it out.
Yeah, he's running a 1/10 to 4/10 faster than the leaders. Every time they get side by side, though, he runs about a half second faster than the leader. So, yeah, he's definitely making up some ground. He's just shy of 6 seconds right now. Shad looking underneath Hunter as Hunter is up on the top side. Jose has pulled away a little bit from these two, but not gotten far enough away that the draft is not going to pull these two right up against them. But with them side by side, it could allow Jose to get away from these guys, and then they'll have to run him back down.
Hunter Pete's just, again, tagged the wall with that right rear. Now the one of Shad Swatsworth able to clear him. He's got his sights set on the 23 of Jose Ruiz. Jose going into the corner. Shad keeping it pinned down. He's got just enough air underneath that 23 to really keep that truck pinned to the corner. Was able to make up a good tenth and a half on that K&N Ford F-150 right in front of him. I'll tell you what, your brother's got Do It for Dale on the back of that truck bed, and he is absolutely there, doing it for Dale in the memory of, as you see all over the back end of that Silverado.
Yeah, he's underneath Jose now. He's going to look to take the lead. We're going to have a new leader as we come through. They come real close to each other. Shad pushing up on Jose just a little bit, not giving up as Jose on that outside line. Hunter falling off, though, with that little bit of damage that he just got from striking the wall. Shad almost clear of Jose, clears him coming out of the corner. Now, new leader, Shad Swatsworth out front in that one good wrench paint scheme.
I tell you what, if Shad goes on to win the 23 and the 26, they're going to be like, why didn't we just stay single file, pull away, and battle it out amongst ourselves a little bit later on? Because I think with those two very, very fast tracks, they could have done that. Yeah, your brother had a little bit of help from the 17, but as you can see, the 17 right now, I don't think he's anywhere really to be found. I haven't gone back to exactly look for Zach Meredith, but I don't think he's actually in this fight anymore. And as I switch to the 17, yeah, he's way back there. So those the faster guys, the cream of the crop, and I'm not saying that to disrespect anybody else on track, but the cream of the crop are where they should be at the end of this race.
Yeah, Hunter sitting P1 in the standings is 19 points up from Nate Lehman, who's third, sitting fourth in the race right now. So not going to be a huge change between Hunter Peach, Nate Lehman, even Cole Snyder, who's sitting back in 13th. That could still drop him a little bit. Jose Ruiz sitting fifth, though, at 147, sitting 40 points back from Hunter Peach. Him leading laps, and if he finishes P2 with Hunter finishing P3, and he's probably going to get a bonus point for leading lap, getting a bonus point for leading the most laps, he's still going to pull away from Jose. But Jose, Cole, and Nate are going to creep in on Josh Arnold, who is 20 points out in front of those three, but is back in P16 tonight, Pete.
Yeah, I'm still very, very curious to see what happened or hear from Josh Arnold to find out exactly what happened. Again, I hope everything is all right with him. It's not normal for the 22 of Josh Arnold J-Pa to just up and quit. I mean, I didn't see any issues earlier on with his double deuce. He's, but something had to have gone amiss for him in his personal life or in his house or whatever for him to just leave. It would have been interesting to see where he would have stood as this race has gone on. He's very, very good at Dover. He's very, very good everywhere. I'll be curious. I'll probably reach out to him after the race is over with.
Yeah, looking at the lap times, though, Shad and Jose are pretty much running pretty close to same lap times. They keep flip-flopping on who's faster each lap. But Jose kind of just sitting in the wake of Shad's draft, just kind of waiting. I mean, we've got 20 laps to go coming to 19. Hunter Peach, though, sitting back there in P3, has fallen off almost a second from Shad, only about 6/10 back from Jose, so still within reach. But Nate Lehman now falling back to 8.5 seconds once these guys got single filed and started stretching away again. They're all stretching away from Nate Lehman.
Yeah, Nate Lehman actually took a little bit of a shot to the back bumper from the 17 of Zach Meredith. Zach got off the corner just a little bit better than Nate, and it made Nate get a little squirrely. But I tell you what, if you switch to the left rear of that Napa Auto Care number 26 for Hunter Peach, you'll actually be able to see the damage that he's got, and I think that's what's holding him back. Or maybe he is all right since it is tech. I mean, you could say it's a short track being a mile long. No, his other rear, but there you go. There you see it. It could be what's holding him back. I'm not 100% sure. Or he could just be. He could see what happened when he and Jose Ruiz got to battling. Maybe he thinks Jose and Shad Swatsworth will get to battling, and he'll be able to take advantage of that. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, looking at the damage, he's got damage from that right front fender or wheel well all the way back to the tail end of the truck. So he's definitely got some damage down the side of that truck, whether it's ripples in the metal going down the side that's allowing that aero to not really be smooth down the side of the truck. But it's definitely, I think, impacting. He's fallen back now to a second. Shad and Jose stretching away. I don't know if it was just a mental error when he clipped the wall or if he was just getting really tight on these long runs and made that mistake, or if it was when Jose, got to him that it made his truck tight. But I'm seeing smoke for some reason down on the apron. I was hoping there wasn't a caution coming. But, yeah, Shad and Jose are definitely stretching out away from Hunter. Jose, though, sitting there, like I said, in the wake of Shad's draft, just biding time, 14 laps to go. Shad, a little bit fresher tire, obviously 1 lap fresher tire, so not a huge difference, but, I mean, it definitely does help in the sense of, that 1 lap. But Shad did use his tires a little bit more to catch back up to Jose and Hunter when they blew past him coming out of the pit stop.
Yeah, another good battle that's on track right now is between the 17 and the 44, a little bit further back. This is the battle for the Lucky Dog position. You got the 44 behind that Burger King number 17 as they're trying, or they were just a little bit closer. 44 fell back just a bit. 17 entering high. 44 all the way down on that low line. I think the 44 might have just tagged that wall with the right rear as the 17's looking a little loose.
Yeah, we're actually almost running the same standings as of right now to last season's race. Last season, we finished with 5 drivers on the lead lap. The 6th position was Byron Jones, who is currently in the 6th position, 1 lap down in both races. This race, obviously, we have 1 extra person a lap down. That's 5th place Zach Meredith. And then from Byron Jones in the last season's race, he was the only car single lap down. The rest of the field was 2+. And right now, Zach Meredith and Byron Jones sitting 5th and 6th are 1 lap down. The rest of the field 2+ laps down. So almost identical to last season, and they had 1 caution.
So far I don't see a yellow. Zach Meredith able to keep it straight. He's getting back on the throttle, grabbing a gear. He's going to be able to get going. It looks like we're going to stay green.
Yeah, it was off track, so as long as he didn't slide back up on the track or come to a complete stop in the grass, it did not throw the caution. So luckily, Zach able to keep that car spinning around to where he did come front-facing. before he came to a complete stop. If he would have come to a complete stop facing the wrong way, it would have thrown the caution. But with 9 laps to go, that is the last thing that Shad and Jose would like to see. I'm sure Hunter would love to see that caution come out to try to get those 4 fresh tires thrown on there. But, I mean, with only 4 guys on the lead lap, all 4 of those guys would be pitting, I would assume, and just duke it out for those last laps. But luckily, Zach able to save it, get it going again. Still going to be registered as 6th place, as Jeff Ludnam was able to get by him as he was spinning, now both a lap down. So now we're back to looking more like last season with only 1 driver, 1 lap down, but Byron moving up to top 5 rather than 6th place from last season with 7 laps to go, Pete.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm actually on board right now with that 17, like in his cockpit. And, man, he is putting a whole ton of wheel into that 17. He's going around again as he goes past the start stripe.
That's going to bring out the caution. He's going to be stopping right in the middle of the track. Oh, and it didn't bring it out.
Nope,
that's twice.
Down.
Wow. All right, I would say at this point he needs to just bring it down pit road and get some 4 fresh tires thrown on there, because that's the last thing these guys want is a caution to come out. You spun twice now on old tires. Might as well bring it down and grab tires, because you spin again and bring out the caution. Everybody's going to be saying, why didn't you just go down pit road with spinning twice? So it looks like that's what he's going to do. 5 laps to go. He's going to lose maybe 1 or 2 laps, which will put him back to about 9th, most likely. So still a good recovery for 10 or top 10, but luckily that did not bring out the caution for the leaders out there.
All right, so we got 5 laps remaining, catching up.
Shad has stretched it almost to a lead, or a second. Sorry.
No, actually, now I was just kind of went to ride on board with Shad in this number 1 good wrench do it for Dale Silverado, and he's having to give it a little bit less wheel than I was just watching with the 17. So that just goes to show the kind of handling that your brother's got as he works underneath the 10 truck. 10 up towards the outside wall. A little bit of smoke going into the corner. No issue right there. But he's catching up to the back end of that 44 Esports Silverado for Byron Jones. There is that 17 coming out of pit road.
Yeah, Shad him on board inside the cockpit with 3 laps to go, coming out of the turn now, looking to just try to keep it steady and hope that nobody behind him pulls out a caution. It's the last thing he's looking for with 2 laps to go, Pete. Leading the last 2 laps here would be incredible for him, starting in the back, or starting 4 positions back, moving up to the 1st position. I said earlier I thought he had a win, but unfortunately I just went back and looked at the standings, and he does not have a win. He is sitting 11th or 12th in the points, but no wins. So coming out to the Concrete Mile and getting that win would be incredible for him for a season. 1 lap to go, Pete. Final lap as he goes into turn 1 and 2 underneath Byron Jones. Clear road out in front of him for the most part. I do see 1 truck way out there, but a half track in front of him. Jose Ruiz now sitting 1 second off of 1st place. So it looks like our top 3 is going to be Shad, Jose, and Hunter, as Shad is going to come out of turn 4 and win. Turn down for what's race at the Monster Mile.
Yeah, big congratulations to Shad. Absolutely fought through, did everything that he had to do it for Dale in that good wrench Silverado. Congratulations, Shad Swatsworth. Big win for him. Dover is absolutely a tough track. He's going to be able to bring it on back to the start stripe and burn it down in front of all of his peers here in the Turn Down for What Truck Series.
Hopefully they got the message about not wrecking the leader either, so hopefully we could see that burnout here. Yeah, Shad needs to practice a little bit on his burnouts. I know this front stretch on Monster Mile is a little small, but definitely hitting the wall a few times there. But burning them down for sure. Getting that first victory of the season, didn't lead till towards the end of the race. But, I mean, he did lead when Hunter was on pit road. But, coming out here, getting the win, not a full-time driver like we said. He misses a few races here and there. He is also on my team, KS Gaming 51's racing team. So him, Chris Murphy, and Jeff Ludnam out here tonight. Unfortunately, Pacey not able to make it tonight. So my three drivers actually finishing pretty good, with Shad finishing first, Jeff Ludnam finishing sixth, and Chris Murphy, our pole sitter, finishing eighth. So top 10 for all three of my drivers. The rest of the field, Jose Ruiz bringing it home second, Hunter Peach sitting third, and Nate Lehman fourth. That is our last lead lap driver. This field all green, 200 laps tonight. Jeff Ludnam sitting sixth, JB Banner seventh, Chris Murphy eighth, Zach Meredith bringing it home ninth, Mike Campbell, Papa Bear sitting 10th, Ryan McCall 11th, Randy Busquette in his first race back bringing it home 12th, Cole Snyder for the Cole Snyder gang out there finishing 13th tonight, Micah Allard in his first race and turned down for what, bringing it home 14th, Michael LeBlanc 15th, and Josh Arnold 16th tonight, Pete.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's kind of hard to do your burnout here at Dover, because this place, and this is something that we didn't talk on earlier because we didn't have to. There were no wrecks, but this track is a self-cleaning track. If you wreck up on track, it's gonna slide on down to the apron. I think that's why your brother couldn't quite get that truck to do everything that he wanted to during his celebratory burnouts. But again, congratulations to the one truck for the one and only Shad Swatsworth. Big win for a part-time driver, and still this should actually put him inside the top 10 in points for a guy that can't make it all the time.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be right back. I'm gonna run a commercial real quick, and we'll be right back with the top three finishers of Turn Down for What's race at the Monster Mile Dover. Pete and I are always in the booth for Turn Down for What, so we'll catch you here in just a few minutes, but we'll run the intermission and be right back. All right, Pete, we are back. Everybody out there in the chat waiting to talk to the top three. Pete, I'm going to go ahead and take third and first, and then since I took Jose last week, I'll give him to you this week since I got the big celebratory first win for him last week. So you'll go ahead and take him for second place. But
Okay.
let's see. I think we got all three in here. So Hunter, you got a copy, buddy. All right. Normally we hear you say, this is not a good track, and you're not very good at these tracks, and you just got the track or something like that. But dude, you dominated this race from about lap 30. You just took over, and I mean, you stretched 3 to 4 seconds over second place, about 7 seconds over third place. Give us a breakdown of what happened during that last green flag stop. You came out with still about a second over Jose and about 5 seconds over Shad, but with you and Jose battling it out there, it allowed Shad to get up to you guys. And we noticed you had some damage on the right side. What was going on in that third run? You looked to be a little tight in that second run towards the end. Was that all it was, or was it lap down traffic? What was it, buddy?
No, it was nothing with the damage and the traffic. I couldn't stretch the field as long as they weren't extra laps, so I was about short a lap every single time. So I was trying to save a lip there on that last run. So I was trying to keep him on the behind me, and then Shad closed in. But all in all, just thankful to everybody in this league. But ran it all, it's a great race. Probably my best of the season so far. But I actually like Dover, so don't question me on that, saying that coming back on that. But yeah, I ran a great race, qualified second, but yeah, just congrats to Shad on getting the win. I was just short on fuel, so I was trying to save it, and then just didn't have anything because I couldn't really push pushed as much as I wanted to.
Well, I mean, looking at this race here, I mean, you like I said, you definitely dominated it. Trying to pull up the results right now to see how many laps you actually led. 132 out of 200. So, I mean, that's the definition of dominating. I said earlier in the broadcast that I thought Josh Arnold dominated this race last season with 72 laps, and you come out here and almost double his total of laps led from last season's race during the same track. So it's incredible run, bud. You're still out in front in points. Trying to get those updated looking. You're still up in points, so out in first. We go to iRacing Super Speedway next race. It's obviously a crapshoot with it being a super speedway and a fantasy super speedway, being as big as it is, and the banking the way it is, and the way that these trucks just suck up to each other, and the draft is so incredible at this track. I mean, is there any outlook going to this kind of fantasy track? Have you driven this track a lot, or anything like that? We've seen you be pretty consistent on super speedways of being up front, or at least being in that front pack consistently. So is that what we should expect at a super speedway, or do you have the track first? I guess would be the question, and then what kind of practice or what should we expect from you?
Yeah, somehow I did pull out the win there last year. I don't know how, but not much of a super speedway racing guy. I mean, it's not my strong suit, but it's definitely fun. But just with everybody so tight together, you can lose a lot of spots in one run. But definitely an interesting track for sure. I got great teammates, so we'll probably come up with something there as a strategy. Try to work together and just see how it goes because it's just unpredictable.
Yeah, well, now the points are updated here. Looks like you are up by 18 points over second place. Josh Arnold, who finished P16 tonight. Nate Lehman moving into, or still in third, but moving or inching a little bit closer to you now, back 22 points. And Jose Ruiz, second place finisher tonight, moving into fourth place at 187. You're at 227, so still sitting 40 points back, but closing in on you a little bit. I mean, we were closing in, I think, on halfway through the season. We're getting close to it. A few different style tracks coming up, a road course coming up. Then we go to Pocono, which is, usually you're pretty strong there. Josh Arnold strong there. Shad, Zach Meredith, a few others are, usually pretty strong there. So kind of a, integral part of the season that's can make or break your season. But, last season's champion. You're the champ till you ain't the champ no more, as they said before with Kobe and Shaq and them. So, congratulations on P3 tonight. Keep consistently being in the top three, and you'll definitely be there at the end of the season at the top of the points again. Any shout outs for you, bud?
Just shout out to Mike and all that for putting on a great lead and all these great drivers day in day out, pushing me to get better at this. I couldn't be as good if it wasn't for them. They push me every week, just a challenge. Especially Jose, he's definitely improving. Pushes me to go harder. So does Shad, especially Banner. Last year he whooped me so much. So yeah, but just everybody in this league and all my teammates and all my friends and all the people out there watching. And yeah, and you've put on the broadcast, you and Pete.
Oh, we definitely appreciate it. But like I said, we'll catch you next week at iRacing Super Speedway.
Yep, should be fun.
All right. Well, Pete, handing it over to you, that one and only 23 driver that you like so much, Jose Ruiz, finishing P2.
Absolutely. Jose Ruiz, it is Pete, buddy. You got a copy.
Yeah, I do. What's up?
All right, Jose. Well, I'll tell you what, bud. It seemed like between after the second pit stop and before the third pit stop, you really caught up to the back end of that 26, reeled him in, and then you were within 3 to 4 tenths coming out of the pits for your final stop. He came down one lap before you. You smartly pulled in the very next lap, able to keep pace with him. And then while you and him continued to battle, the one of Shad Swatsworth was able to run you guys down. Looking back, do you kind of wish that the two of you would have just gone nose to tail and fought it out at the very, very end? Or are you glad that it all worked out the way that it did? Obviously, you'd want to win, but talk us through your race, any regrets, and then what more did you need for that one?
I mean, I'm pretty happy with what I decided there during pit stops. I think I got caught up on that last one kind of not staying out as long as I normally do. So I'm normally the last people to pit. So I saw that Shad pitted a lap later than us, so I knew that he was eventually gonna get us there at the end. But I kind of just lost track on that last pit stall, like I said. But I mean, overall, I really liked Dover. The first time in the trucks racing there. I ran their ARCA and Xfinity, so. But I mean, second place, I will take it.
Now, Jose, you mentioned that Shad went one extra lap past you guys with a full 50 laps. How long does it actually take for these tires to equal out? Does that one extra lap really mean something in a run 35 laps later?
I feel like it does. I don't know if everybody else thinks that, but I don't know. With me, I feel like a lap or two difference, especially at some of these tire eating tracks, it does matter. But yeah, I just like I said, I wish I stayed out another lap or two because I think I came down when my crew chief said 2 laps left. So, oh well.
Well, man,
Probably change that next time.
hey, overall, I'm not trying to be like, Debbie Downer or anything like that. Phenomenal race as always. You seem to really be hitting your stride. Going on to iRacing Super Speedway next week, like Shad said, the trucks are bad fast there.
Kurt.
I mean, runs come from everywhere. Kurt, sorry. Yeah, I did it again. I know. Kurt said, the runs can come from anywhere with these trucks. Are you gonna kind of lay back, or are you gonna be up there trying to contend right from the drop of the green?
The same thing. Yeah, I do every super speedway, kind of right in the back. You've seen it.
Yep.
Wait probably about 20, 15 laps to go, and then make my way up to the front. Hopefully, I don't get wrecked between the beginning and the end there. But yeah, just wait and see what happens.
All right, buddy. Congratulations one more time. Any quick shout outs for you?
Yeah, man. Thanks to you guys for doing this. It's always fun going back and watching these. Thanks to Papa Bear for letting us run on iRacing. I've had a blast since I've started on here. So, and everybody else, it's always fun racing. Everybody in this league, no matter what series it is, trucks, Xfinity, it's always a good time.
There you go. Hey, Curtis, I think you've got another Swatsworth sitting there in Victory Lane.
Yeah, first I just want to say, Jose, I know the strategy you pull with super speedways. Pete, I don't know if you remember, but that first NNR race we had in that practice season, Jose was part of that group that me, Alpha, or Michael York, Jeff Ludnam, Jose, and a couple others stayed in the back about 5 to 6 seconds off of the major pack, and then with about 10 laps to go, we finally started making our moves, and that pivotal TikTok video that we've seen pop up from Coe, where, calamity happened coming out of turn 4, and it just was. I mean, it was just everybody was in that wreck, and people were driving through each other. And I don't remember where Jose finished, but I know Mike and I both made our way through some of the cars, literally jumping some of them or driving through them as I drove through your car to make it to P2 and Mike be P3 in that race. So. Definitely going to be exciting next week. Hopefully we get a few more drivers. Usually with super speedways, obviously that's the tracks that we seem to have guys coming out of the woodwork to race. So maybe we'll have a little bit more. I know we had 16 tonight, but it'd be nice to have a little bit more on track. But it is always nice to have those normal guys who can make it every week and be here. Try to battle it out and not get wrecked by guys who just show up just for super speedways. So congrats again, Jose. All right, Chad, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, we watched you kind of battle your way through there. We saw you up 4 spots to get to P1. You were back about 7 to 8 seconds at one point in that second green flag run. No cautions tonight, which is incredible. You guys had 1 caution here last season, which trapped everybody a lap down or more. But no cautions tonight out of 200 laps. It looks like you led about 37 laps, which is a great number. I mean, obviously, comparing it to Hunter's number is kind of impossible, but being the second most laps led is a good thing for you. You're not a full-time driver. You come out here looking for trophies, trying to get to the top 10 every single season that you can. You've been knocking on the door, and I think you just broke into the top 10 actually with this win. So break it down for us in that last third green flag run. We know you closed into about 5.5 seconds at the end of that second green flag run. Your pit stops were a little bit better than Hunter's and Jose's, but your actual time on pit lane was a little slower, but you came out, I think Pete said, 2 seconds back from Jose and Hunter, but they were side by side battling it out, and Zach Meredith was on your back bumper, kind of driving you towards them, and you were able to close in. So, kind of give us your rundown of what you saw when you came out of pit lane, and then we'll talk about some other stuff after that.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised when I came out of the pits on that last run, and I was only 2 seconds back. Because every other time I was like 5 or 7 seconds and had to try to close the gap. And I was a little afraid that I wasn't gonna, that strategy wasn't gonna pay off. But I knew Hunter was not gonna have, like, he wasn't gonna be able to push it. I knew Jose would be able to make it, but I was just hoping that they would get caught up in traffic, and that's kind of what they did. Plus them battling side by side, allowed me to catch them. And then, yeah, Meredith on my bumper was a little sketchy. I was kind of sitting there wondering, hey man, I ain't the leader. Why you trying to fight me? And luckily, nothing happened though. Um, and yeah, I seen when I finally caught up to them, I could tell they were kind of backing off, especially Hunter. And I just got up behind them and kind of made sure that they didn't slow the pace down, and pretty much just sat back and watched and let them kind of burn their tires up. And then once they finally got single filed, passed them one at a time. And yeah, once I took the lead, I pretty much was just managing the gap with Jose, and then making sure I didn't bounce it off the wall.
Well, you definitely turned out tonight and put it down on the track and came back for this victory. Last season, I went over it with you and a couple of the drivers before the race. You know, you finished eighth, I think 3 laps down in this race, but obviously that one caution last season, I think, trapped a lot of guys down. But then we look at this race, and only the top 4 were on the lead lap. The rest of the field was 1 or more laps down. I think only 5th place was 1 lap down. The rest of the field was 2 plus or 3 plus. So able to stick with Jose and Hunter and Nate Lehman, who brings it home for us, so can't forget about him staying on the lead lap as well. And he actually closed in on you guys with you guys battling, and then when you guys got single file, you guys stretched it back out on him a little bit. But big win for you tonight at the Monster Mile Concrete. I don't know if you're usually, great at Dover, but I mean, you brought home eighth spot last season. I know in console you were usually right up front, running around with bowling and a couple others. So going into tonight, were you really feeling like you were comfortable on track, or was it just kind of a feel it out as you went? And with no cautions coming out tonight, you were able to just run your strategy as you wanted to run it.
I mean, I like Dover. One, because it's a driver's track. You have to drive it. You have to save tires. It's not a track where you just full throttle around here. You don't have to worry about it getting loose. You don't have to worry about the tires. So tracks like this one in Texas really fit my style of driving as far as being able to save tires under loose conditions, and just pretty much be the person that can save them the best, or in this case, be able to save some fuel. Um, but yeah, I mean, I told my teammates before the race started, like, I liked Dover. I mean, it's, besides Texas, it's probably, right there as far as second best track that I'm, or second track that I'm best at. So I mean, I'd race here every time. And I know last season I got caught up being a lap down because of a caution coming out, but pretty sure in Xfinity I ran pretty good here last season. So I was pretty confident going into tonight.
Well, actually, looking at the point standings, you have moved to P9, but are running that part-time schedule with your work schedule. Having you miss, I think you say like 2 races every other month or something. So, are we going to catch you at iRacing Super Speedway, or are you going to be missing that one?
You'll catch me probably ending up in the catch fence.
Well, there might be a few of you up on the catch fence. They might be picking shrapnel out of the fence for a little while after that race. But that track, I mean, I love that track. It's a fantasy track. The runs and stuff that you get are so incredible. I like racing it in the trucks, Xfinity, and Cup cars. I don't like racing in the next gen cars because I feel like those cars are pretty much running truck speeds, and it just feels like you're just barely moving on that track with those next gen cars. But with the trucks, it actually feels like you're moving pretty well. So I'll look forward to that race next week with Pete in the booth again. Congratulations on your first victory of the season. Like I said, moves you up into P9 in the points. I think you're only sitting, you got 164, so you're sitting about 63 points back from Hunter Peach, who's sitting first. But obviously, with your work schedule, you're not going to be able to make every race. But iRacing Super Speedway, you're usually pretty good at super speedways. We usually see you at the front, leading laps, duking it out in the front row. Like you said, unfortunately, super speedway racing brings some unfortunate happenings from the lead or from the middle or from the back. So hopefully you're not in the catch fence. But congratulations on your first victory of Turn Down for What Season 2 in the trucks. Any last shout-outs for you?
Yeah, I want to dedicate this race to my grandmother that passed away a couple weeks ago. I was hoping to be able to do it at Texas, but unfortunately, my race kind of got ruined. But I was hoping to do it that night, and I was glad I was able to get a win tonight so I could do it for her. Also want to say thank you to my fiance who puts up with me racing, and thank you to you guys for broadcasting and allowing us to go back and watch these races. Thank you to Papa Bear for putting on the league, all the admins that do the behind the scenes work, and yeah, thanks for my teammates. Hopefully next week the three of us can be the three amigos, and I'd like to maybe try to get Jeff Led and I'm gonna win.
Yeah, Pacey, I think, should be back, but that's the fourth member of the team that was not here tonight with his newborn that he's got just a couple weeks ago. So hopefully he'll be back, and that'll give you 4 drivers in the field. I'm sure a couple other drivers or teams will try to be working together, but you guys are very good at super speedways. I'd love to see Jeff get a win with Chris winning last week in the Xfinity Series at Pocono. That's 2 of the drivers in the team getting a win in different series, but would love to see Jeff get his win. Definitely a grinder that's been here for a long time, known him for a long time on console side. Would love to see Jeff come over to iRacing and get that first win. With Jose getting his first win of the season, now your first win of the season. Chris getting his first win of the season. Would love to see Jeff get his first win too. So, congratulations again, and thanks for putting on a show.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Pete, that wraps it up for Dover. Monster Mile bringing it home, 5th or 6th race of Turn Down for What's Truck Series season so far. Got iRacing Super Speedway coming up. Then we go to Road America, and then we go to that tricky triangle that they just raced at the Xfinity Series, going back there in the trucks now. So should be a very good schedule coming up. We got to work on the setups for the road courses, but it should be a very good schedule coming up.
Yeah, not bad at all. I'll tell you what, these Turn Down for What truck drivers put Miles the Monster on a diet tonight. He is not eating healthy whatsoever. Man, great race overall. No real wrecks. We saw the 17 have a couple of issues a little bit later on in the race. He tried to save it the first time, second time spun out, but we mentioned this track being a self-cleaning track, ended up going on down the bank, and we stayed green all the way. I'm sure a lot of the guys that were up front wanted to see that. That way they all didn't get racked and stacked back up. But next week, like you said, iRacing Super Speedway, that very, very long, elongated Martinsville with banking greater than Talladega and Daytona, 3 miles in length. It's going to be one hell of a race. And then, yeah, like you said, Road America after that. So a little bit of a mix. We got a high bank, what you could call a mile-long short track, to a 3 mile super speedway, to making rights and lefts to see who can bounce back the best. It's gonna be a great 3 weeks.
Then we go to Pocono. So I mean, it's the schedule is all over the place with different style tracks every week. We go to Pocono, then we go to Gateway, then Auto Club, then Talladega. So it's kind of flip flopping, to different styles of tracks, different ways of getting around the tracks. Auto Club's that track where the guys like to run the high line, but you can run that short or the shorter line around, running the bottom. And then we go to that extra Crown Jewel Indy style, and then we go to Bristol. Then we go to Michigan, which is another track Shad's very good at. So, and then we go to Charlotte for the championship. So this is, like I said, a pivotal moment in the season for guys battling it out for the championship points. It should be really entertaining the rest of the schedule. Obviously, Pete, huge thanks to you for joining me in the booth. Love having you in the booth. I wish we could be in the booth every single night together in every single league that we have, but our schedule's obviously mixed up with you 6 nights a week with different leagues, and I've got 3 nights a week with different leagues, and luckily 2 of them we can be in the booth together. So really appreciate you being in the booth. Really appreciate all the chats and the bit drops and your subscription, Pete. And I mean, there's so many people out there in the chat that were rooting for different drivers, and just the viewers every week, and most importantly to me, the drivers on track, including our owner Papa Bear, who's sitting P10 in the point standing. So looking to try to finish P10 again 2 seasons in a row, or maybe move up a little bit as he goes here. But I mean, just incredible drivers, incredible league. Love being here. Love the booth. Don't ever want to be back on track, really. Definitely want to stay out of that. And I think I enjoy being in the booth with you a lot more than being on the track. Not with just you, but all the other drivers, but just being in the way for me. Just don't want to be in the way anymore. So really appreciate it. And we'll catch everybody next week at iRacing Super Speedway as we go to that fantasy track and see what happens. Shad's calling his shot of being up in the catch fence. So we'll see what happens there. And hopefully we've got some good racing and a lot of speed at that track. But we'll catch you guys next week. And thanks for tuning in.